Hey team, it's Coach Frick. Just making a couple videos to kind of go over our two formations that we used on Sunday scrimmage and kind of explaining some of the offensive concepts as well as the defensive concepts that we'll be trying to work on this fall. So when you get a chance, just have your kids look over these videos. As I said in the meeting, they don't need to take any notes or anything, but just have them watch them over once just to get a general idea of what we're trying to achieve. And then this is the bulk of what we will be working on this fall. So as you can see here, this is the first formation we use. This is the 4-3-1. Here are our four players in the back line. We've got our left back, our center backs, and our right back. We've got our three midfielders, which includes a defensive midfielder and two center midfielders or attacking midfielders, and then our forward up front. So what I really like about this shape is, since most teams we play against will be playing a 3-2-3. So as you can see, the team in red here is lined up with three in the back, a right back, center back, left back, two central midfielders, and then three up front, is that it gives us two really good advantages in key areas of the field. So the first being in the midfield, we have a 3v2 advantage in the middle of the field, which I think we utilized to our advantage in the first half of the scrimmage very well. I felt like whenever a ball turned over or there was a 50-50 battle in the midfield, we were kind of able to find that extra player and get out of trouble. And then also a 4v3 advantage in the defensive third, which just kind of gives you that extra protection in case somebody gets beat in a 1v1. We have a player who can shift over and help support, which happened quite a bit in the first half. So the glaring downside to this formation is the lack of options in the attacking wide areas. Like you'll see the opposition's right back and left back here have nobody who is on them. So to fix that, we have four players, two on each side, who can kind of help get into those positions. Firstly, we have our central midfielders or attacking midfielders who have, I think, the most freedom to go both vertically and horizontally in this shape, this formation 4-3-1. So they can make runs in behind the back line, they can drift out wide and also drop back a little bit. And then we also have our outside backs, our left back or right back, who in this shape would play more as wing backs, who we saw to good effect can get down the line, but they don't always have to go down the line. They could also come infield. Let's say if our attacking midfielder decided to go down the line, then they could cover that space for them as well. So one thing I really want to focus on, not only this fall, but in general, is learning how to play out of the back. For two reasons, one being aesthetic. I think youth, especially at this age, should really learn how to play the ball, take risks, and not necessarily be afraid of consequences such as conceding goals or losing. And then obviously the better you get at playing out of the back, once they get older, they'll have the leg strength to be able to kick the ball long if they really need to, if winning is really that important. But for sure at the younger ages, I'm a big advocate for playing out of the back. And then the second reason being that physical element. A lot of kids just aren't physically able to get the ball from this box all the way up to half field. So it makes sense that if you have a way to structurally break an opponent down from your goal box to the other one, then you're much better off for it. So the general principle here is to have the center backs short and wide of the goalkeeper. I'm not sure what happened to the ball. There's actually a ball that's supposed to be right here in front of the goalkeeper, but that's fine. And then the goalkeeper has the option to play either left or right. For those of you who don't know, the opposition team isn't allowed to be inside of this penalty box while the goal kick is being taken. Only after the ball is played can they come in. So you will often see a striker like the number 9 in red here, ready to rush into the box or blitz once the first pass is played. So in this example, I'm going to have us going off to the left first. And again, I'm not sure what happened to my ball, but the ball is going to go from the goalkeeper to the center back, number 5. And the first two immediate options the center back should have is the left back to the left, and then the holding midfielder or defensive midfielder through the middle. And what I see a lot of, or what I saw a lot of on Sunday, was our holding midfielder not necessarily making themselves available to be an option when we were playing short out of the back. But most times, I'd say 9 out of 10 times, you play this ball short and the opposition's front line is not even paying attention to what's behind them. So really the defensive midfielder can drift into space and pick up this ball pretty regularly without having too much pressure on them if they do receive the ball. And then in this example, I have the other team's number 6 getting closer to our holding midfielder. So I don't think that's a pass we want to make. So maybe we'll play out wide to the left back. And then if the left back does receive the ball in this position, since we sucked in 3 or 4 players from the other team, now there's 3 or 4 players less that we have to worry about going forward. And this is the example I was alluding to earlier, where we have our left back, yes, driving the ball up the line, but then we also have our attacking midfielder who's making that run in behind as well. And as you can see now, they have a good set of options. The left back can play down the line to the attacking midfielder who's making that run in behind, or they can play inside to the holding midfielder who can then change our direction of attack and play up to our striker, our other center mid, or to our other outside back. And I only remember seeing this once where we successfully got a ball from one outside back into the holding midfielder and out to the other outside back. But generally speaking, that is an avenue for switching the field if one side is too congested, which it often is at these ages. All right, there's my ball. So generally speaking, we want to create 3 lanes of attack. So when we have possession of the ball, we should have somebody in the left channel, down the middle, and then down the right as well, looking to get forward. And when we can push our outside backs further up the field, that means that the other team's outside midfielders or wingers have a decision to make, whether they drop back and follow them, or if they stay high and kind of just cherry pick and wait for the ball to return to them. Again, at this age, 9 times out of 10, most wingers or forwards will elect to stay high. So that gives us less players that we have to worry about defensively. But in this case that they do want to drop back, that just kind of pins them back into their half a little bit more, which also isn't a bad thing for us. If we can create situations like this one, where we've got our outside backs running up against the opposition's outside backs, we can pull them out wide, and that'll leave a little bit of space in central areas. And it's when those spaces appear that we can have our attacking midfielders or central midfielders break into those spaces and create overloads. So you'll see at this moment, we have 5 attacking players going up against their back line of 3. Again, if their center midfielders are really disciplined, they might follow our outside or center midfielders into those spaces. But most of the time at these ages, you don't have that discipline and you kind of stick to whatever position you think you're supposed to be playing. So I think this would be a really fruitful avenue for us to exploit if we can get players in the right positions at the right time. Now, if we have situations where our number 10 here, attacking midfielder, runs into wide areas and the center mid does follow them, that usually will free up more space in the middle, where our holding midfielder can then take advantage, go into that space, and hopefully if they receive the ball, change our point of attack and get us going in the opposite direction if there isn't space to exploit on the side we were on previously. And again, that's something I saw very little of. So it's something we'll be working on as the fall season goes on. And that's all for this first intro video of how to attack or how we want to attack in our 4-3-1 formation.